to Yale Real Living.
This is the 2020 Yale Assure SL. It can lock automatically. You can unlock it with a code. It'll even talk to you.
Press 4 for privacy button.
How cool is that? There's a Wi-Fi version and a ZWave Plus version. Stay tuned. Hey Smart Homers, John Stone, the DIY Smart Home Guy, here with another video in my Smart Door Lock series. All test results are available on my website, DIYSmartHomeGuy.com or azhb.com. They are both the same place. And below there is a link to playlist for all of my door lock reviews. Yale did send me this door lock for free, but I ain't getting paid. Thanks for that, Yale, by the way. I do appreciate it. I am going to tell you what I really think, and there are affiliate links down below. So let's get into it. We are here to talk about the Yale Assure Lock SL Smart Door Lock Model YRD256, and it is the consumer version of the Yale Pro SL model YRD256 that I reviewed a few weeks ago. I'll point out some of the differences in this video. First things first, let's clear up some of the differences between the various YRD256 models, because there are 3 of them. Actually, there's 4, but I'll cover that in a second. The first model that we are going to talk about is the YRD256-CBA, which is the connected by August version. It's a Wi-Fi lock that is compatible with Alexa, Google Home Assistant, and Apple HomeKit. The CBA model comes with the August Connect puck and a Wi-Fi stick that plugs into this lock housing. The Connected by August version also supports virtual keys, Airbnb, and HomeAway. It also supports DoorSense and auto unlock on arrival. That's what I'm excited about. Next up is the YRD256-IM1. This is meant for the true Apple enthusiast that really doesn't care about getting the lock into the August app. While it does have Bluetooth built in, it doesn't support auto unlock on arrival according to the Yale website. And the third one that we're going to cover is the YRD256-ZW2 model, which is a ZWave only model. This is intended to be used with a ZWave hub like Hubitat, Wink, and SmartThings, amongst others. This model is not compatible with HomeKit and also does not support auto unlock on arrival. That would have been so easy, I don't know why they didn't do it. Come on, you're killing me. What's the main difference between these locks? The plug-in module. The fourth lock that I was talking about is a YRD256-NR. That NR stands for no radio, which means it is a keyless lock that supports the keypad entry. So you'll be able to have most of these features available to you if you want to go radioless. Where's the fun in that? The Yale Assure SL comes in 3 finishes, and according to my wife, they are very sexy locks. I've also seen literature stating that this is the thinnest smart lock on the market. I mean, it's pretty thin, but it misses being the thinnest by a fraction of an inch. Come on, it's close enough, right? The keypad is very sturdy and has this nice rubber gasket on the back to help prevent water from leaking in. The interior plate has these guide pins to help align everything when you're installing. The bolt itself is of the standard smart lock variety, sporting the chamfered end for highly reliable locking. And with that, let's cover the main features of the lock itself. Just like the YRD256, the Yale Assure SL is a keyless lock, which means it provides an extra layer of security. There's a 9-volt battery backup port on the bottom of the keypad in the event of internal battery failure, which means you don't need a key. The lock can hold up to 250 codes, which is great for those Airbnb and HomeAway crowds. Now, I only verified the 250 user codes on the ZWave side. If you're using the Connected by August model, you'll have virtual keys, Airbnb, and HomeAway integration. There's a built-in auto relock option, which can be disabled or set to a duration of several minutes. In that Connected by August app, I see you can set it all the way up to 30 minutes if you wanted to. A feature that's unique to the YRD256 when compared to that YRD156 is the privacy mode function, which allows you to lock out all of the PIN codes. Hold the privacy button for 4 seconds and none of the PIN codes will work.
Privacy mode enabled.
Come on, love, I was only kidding. Your hair's beautiful. You can undo this by holding the button again for 4 seconds.
Privacy mode disabled.
You can also disable one-touch locking just like you can on that YRD156. There is also a Keypad Shutdown mode, which disables the lock for 60 seconds if the wrong PIN code was used or attempted 5 times in a row. And what is the cost? Well, the CBA models run between $250 and $300 depending on the finish. The ZW2 and the IM1s come in around $200, but as always, your mileage may vary. Let's get this thing installed. The first thing to note is that you do not want to put the batteries in until after the lock is fully installed, you've installed the radio module, and you've ensured that the lock has free movement in the door and into the strike plate.
Welcome to Yale Real Living.
After it's all together, the first thing you'll need is a master passcode on the new lock.
Registered. Factory reset completed. Touch the keypad for handing lock. Handing lock completed.
Do not, and I mean do not, try to pair this with the August app or your ZWave hub until after you put in that master PIN code. As I always do, I ran several tests on this lock in hopes of determining lock reliability. Here's how that went. Due to some constraints, some of these tests were only performed with my ZWave network using both Hubitat and SmartThings. But before I tell you the results, I did notice that the lock didn't always send back the correct status. It took me a while to figure out what was causing this. I found that if you gently lock the lock doesn't always fire back the lock status. A jiggling of the thumb screw trips the internal sensor, and then the lock correctly reports that status. I'm pointing that out because there are certain times where this thing did not send the status back, and my guess is that the motor wasn't driving it far enough to make contact with that sensor, so some of these missed status reports are probably due to this. To cycle test the lock, I created this awesome rule in Hubitat that automatically cycles the lock. It then tests the lock to see if the command was completed and compares that to if the lock actually responded with the correct state. Then I can monitor the results in this dashboard, and I'll explain a little bit better on my website how the reliability was actually calculated. So what I get on the dashboard is the following. The cycle testing through both Hubitat and SmartThings was consistently between 95.5 and 98.5%, with the plus or minus range between 0.8 and 1.5% margin of error. In all cases, the lock did as commanded, so I attribute the errors to the problem with the lock actually making contact with that internal micro switch. To test out the keypad, what I did is I set up 10 different user codes, and then I used the keypad to lock and unlock that lock 100 times. And here are those results. From the keypad, the results were essentially the same as through the hub. Since the motor is driving the bolt, it's not surprising that it ran into the same problem at the same rate for both SmartThings and Hubitat. If this is indeed a manufacturing problem, you'll run into the same issue with the Connected by August and IM1 modules installed. When activating from the thumb screw, everything was 100%. Again, no surprise there since I was actuating the thumb screw through the full cycle. As always, your mileage may vary. This could just be something that's going on with my lock, or it could be something systemic. There's no way I can tell. To test jam alerts, I simply blocked the bolt as it was trying to lock. It tried to power through, and then it gave this audible warning that it didn't lock. It waited a second, and then it tried again. Now, if you have the audio feedback turned off, you will not get that alarm. As previously mentioned, the auto unlock feature is only available on the Connected by August version, so you ZWave and IM1 users are out of luck. But since I have a CBA module, let's check that out. To test this feature, I drove down to my local park, which is about a half a mile away, and I wanted to make sure that I can control the lock through the app.
So now we are going to lock it. It chose right now to ask me how I'm enjoying the app. I get sick and tired of you asking me if I'm enjoying your shit right in the middle of me trying to use it. Stop doing that. Don't ask again. Okay. So now I've got the message that says it's locked. And there you got it. Same camera, you can see that it's locked. There's the COVID apocalypse warriors.
Now remember, the ZW2 and the IM1 do not have that auto unlock feature, but if you are running a ZWave hub or you're running an Apple HomeKit, there are going to be ways that you can get that type of capability working through your hub with a little magic. I will cover that in a different video. The Yale Assure SL has a relatively quiet locking motor. This is the comparison with the Schlage Connect series lock. For power fail testing, I removed one of the batteries and then I checked it with this 9-volt battery.
Welcome to Yale Real Living.
No issues there. It was actually pretty simple and pretty cool. Overall, I have to say I was very impressed with the Yale Assure SL. There were those problems with the status coming back, but I'm not, yay, I got a subscriber. There were the problems with those statuses coming back to the hub, but I'm willing to look past that on this one. Just keep that stuff in mind. For an ongoing comparison to other locks I've tested, be sure to check out my lock comparison page on my website. As always, I'll tell you everything that I know. And don't forget to check out the DIY Smart Home Guy Facebook group. It's an ever-growing great place to ask questions for your particular situation. Lots of smart people are hanging out there. You should too. Until next time, cheers.